seems like it's in the middle, right? Hello, gamers. How do you like the new background? If you want this background, I got it from, I think, Booth. And the command for it is background assets. So if you would like this for yourself, you're welcome to. But welcome in. I'm so happy to be back. I'm so sorry about yesterday. I want to give a little update before we start. I'm coming on a little early today because I want to let you all in on what's kind of been going on with me. Well, first of all, I'm streaming early because I have to cut streams shorter than I wanted to. I got called into work today, so I'll be heading out at 1. But we're gonna have as much fun as we can with the time that we've been given today, because there was no way I was gonna skip out on you guys. So basically, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I have a medical condition, and the doctors, they're not sure what's exactly wrong with me. They assume it's something called endometriosis, which is an autoimmune disease, and it basically leaves me bedridden for most days. And lately, it's been especially worse on my health. It's been hard, that's to say the least. So I do have an appointment, however, with a surgeon in January, a few days after my birthday, and we're going to look into it, and I'm going to be scheduling a few surgeries. Hopefully it's just a couple, but it could end up being more. And besides the endo, they are thinking that it's maybe something along the lines of cancer, cervical cancer, or hopefully it's not, and it may just be a pelvic disease, or it could be something else that we're not aware of. So I've got a few things kind of stacked on each other lately to deal with. So if my videos are lacking, or my streams, yesterday I was supposed to stream and I was so excited, and I just wasn't able to. But sometimes that's going to happen with me, and everyone has been so supportive and so helpful. Sorry, there's a truck. But everybody has been so supportive of me, and I just wanted to thank you guys. I know a lot of people in the VTubing space struggle with certain disabilities, and so I think the community as a whole is just very welcoming for people who are in my type of situation. And I just wanted to thank you guys before we get started today, and let you know that if I don't show up for something, it will never be because I just didn't feel like it. It will always be something more than that. So, yeah. Okay, let's get started today. We are going to be playing Our Life, as you can probably hear in the background. And I don't think we'll get to the end, but we'll get as much done as possible, because like I said, I have to leave at 1. So let's just go ahead and get started with that. Alright, let me find my game capture real quick. Here we go. Is it popping up? Why is it not popping up? There we go. Alright, I'll be able to see chat as well, of course. Today we are on step 3, finally. We've done talks. No, we haven't. Okay, we haven't done any of these. We have hang, errands, talks, charity, and drive. So I think we just want to kind of hang out, right? Maybe we should start out with that. Oh my gosh, I thought I was muted for this entire thing. Thank you for following. Is it Bocage or Bocaj? 01. Thank you so much for following. It's so nice to see you. Let me know if you've played this before. I've never played it, but it's been a fun ride so far. But I thought I was muted for that whole thing. That would have been something else. Okay, are we ready? First of those pronunciations. So Bocage. Okay. Well, welcome in, Bocage. It's so nice to see you. I love your little emote. Alright, we're getting ready on our first moment for today, which is hang, I think it was, like hang out. Alright. You grabbed the large beach towel from off of your bed and stuffed it into the bag. You had already packed your water bottle for your upcoming beach hangout session. Hello, Hype. How are you? Oh, I'm kind of quiet compared to the music. Thank you for telling me. Hold on, I'll fix that. How's that? The game audio is too loud? Okay, I turned it down a little, quite a bit. Is it, let me know if it's okay. That was a bit much. As in I turned it down too much? Okay. Is it okay? I raised it a little bit. Is it okay now? It's always hard to tell with these games on what is proficient with the audio. All good? Alright, welcome in, Hype. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Alright. The stars had aligned and somehow everyone was free today. Miranda had set things up with several bubbly phone calls between you, Cove and Terry, to find time to hit the beach. Oh, so we're going to the beach! How fun. How many times have we been to the beach in this game? Oh, snap! Cove sat on your windowsill and kicked one of his legs into the air idly. He already had his swimsuit on, and his towel was bundled under his arms in a misshapen ball. He'd shown up earlier that morning with a surprising amount of enthusiasm. He was chatting as you caught up to his preparation. I know, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, I didn't expect that. I was like, what is this scene? But seriously, I couldn't find my swimsuit this morning. I looked everywhere. It had disappeared. I had no idea what I was gonna do. I mean, what happened to all his other swimsuits? He lives on a beach, right? I know that's not your only one. Cove looked away and shrugged. I might have some laundry to do. Anyways, I don't know why it was in the bathroom when I never put it there. He gave a small smile and readjusted the towel in his arms. Now, you could see that it had been folded at some point, but then rolled up and carried without much care.
I'm so glad.
I'm just glad I found it. It would have been crappy to lose my favorite trunks. It was nice to see Cove so happy and comfortable in what he was wearing. He walked over to your dresser and mused about how you had picked out your own swimsuit. We're just musing about dressing ourselves. Okay. Your height had complicated your swimsuit shopping. Not many swimsuits were well fitted on someone who's petite, and then for the shape of your body. Well, I mean, as a short person, it is hard to find jeans, but I mean swimsuits tend to be pretty cut and dry. Like, I feel like swimsuits kind of, I mean, just from my experience, they kind of fit everybody pretty much the same. But yeah, jeans are super hard for me to find that will fit me. Oh, we have curves? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Curves all the way. Noticeable muscles. Muscle definition, your body was soft. I don't know what about that statement makes it so funny, but it definitely is funny. Your body was delicate? We live on a beach and we surf, so I think we should have at least a little muscle definition, don't you? Your build was toned and firm, with muscles that were there, though slight in size. Okay, I don't like how they describe that. I'm gonna be honest. That made me a little uncomfortable. You had gained more muscle in recent years. It was clear when compared to how you were when you were younger.
Are you okay?
You alright? Yeah, we're just thinking about our muscles, Cove. Leave us alone. I was thinking about some things. Okay. What things? Just myself and my body. His eyebrows rose at your admission of self-reflection. And what do you think? What do I think about my body? Oh, it's about gender now. I thought we were talking about... Okay. We always felt sure about our gender. Being called her was right for you. Wait, why are they calling me out here? Okay. You are well endowed. What are these answers? Oh my gosh, what are these answers? In the past you had breasts, but then surgically removed. I mean, you get to choose. I mean, yeah, I like being able to choose, but some things I don't need to choose. Like, there's too many choices. They're not, we're right in the middle there. We're right in the middle there. You were medium. They were medium. Okay. Wow. We're really just having a whole segment about boobs. You used a binder? Oh, I know what that is. I thought that was something else entirely. I don't know. We like the size we have. Let's be confident. People had a lot of their identity wrapped up in their physical form. It shaped their self-image. Well, personally, it took me a while to be comfortable with my own body. Especially, you know, with my medical condition recently. So, I mean, I've changed a lot. So, but I think I'm getting to where I'm comfortable. Your body was you, and it was a good one that you felt content in. You had pretty much always felt good in your body. It was that way through your main growing years, and now that you were an adult, you didn't see that changing anytime soon. Thank you for following Captain Matt ASMR. Oh, Captain Matt ASMR. That took me a second. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. We're in the middle of talking about our boobs. Because the game asked, not because I just wanted that as a topic of discussion. I want to make that clear. You focused on Cove again. He smiled at you and tilted his head, a question still in his eyes. He was waiting for you to come to an answer, but before you could, you had something to say to him. Oh. Well, what do you think about us? Cove smirked a little, his eyes taking you in easily. Fishing for compliments, Bish? You look great. Everyone knows that, including you, by the way. Unless that's changed. We weren't fishing for compliments. Cove shook his head. His hand went to try to unsubtly cover his smile. I was kind of worried you were so in your own head because something was wrong. Guess not. I'm glad.
Hey.
Cove gave a bent smile, pointing to your arms. You're looking particularly toned today. Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro. Are you gonna be my gym buddy? He answered, not with words, but a solid okay sign with both hands and the same cheeky smile. Oh my gosh. Ahoy sounds to me like you could use a refreshing drink. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I will get a drink right now. I do need a drink, you're right. I'm gonna mute though, because I don't want you to have to hear me. Thank you for the hydrate redeem. We're gonna need lots of those today. Cove suddenly flushed when he realized how boldly he complimented you. He stood by it, even if he was a little red. You were a little taken aback. That came out of nowhere. You glanced at yourself. You like that? What is this conversation? I mean, in this situation, I'd probably stretch. Because I would think it was funny. I would do it ironically, not as like a serious thing. You fluttered your eyelashes and slowly stretched your arms out in front of you towards him. Your sleeves fell down, but instead of fixing it, you let it stay that way. You looked Cove straight in the eye as you openly displayed your arms. Cove turned bright red and jumped to his feet. His towel dropped to the ground as he practically flew over to you. He looked at your arms and then tried to gently nudge them back down. Oh, I didn't know it was going to be like that. That was intense. You can stop now, really. He laughed nervously and flailed a little. You took pity on him and stopped displaying yourself. You'd gotten the reaction you wanted. You retreated back to sitting on the windowsill and retrieved his towel. Head hung low to try and hide his expression. Finally, you felt that was enough of the topic for one day. You went back to your original goal before you got sidetracked. You needed to pick up what you wanted to wear at the beach. Well, a Speedo? We are not wearing a Speedo. Chose a tankini. Is that where it like comes down to like kind of your stomach area? I don't remember. Speedo, yes, haha. No. No Speedo today. I'm gonna be honest, I recently bought swim trunks from like the men's section, and I went swimming this past summer, and it was so much better than wearing bikini bottoms. It was so much better. Like a tank top, but with that swimming fabric. Oh, really? Oh, I thought, what's the one that comes down like to your midsection, but not all the way? That would be what I would want to wear. We'll just wear a two-piece though. While you dug around in your drawers, you tried to think if there was anything else you were missing. Sunglasses. Oh, was that all? I didn't even look at the other options. Usually they let us pick multiple. Regardless, it was time for him to go. You weren't going to put on your beachwear with him just chilling there. Cove smiled, content with being kicked out. Cove lowered himself off the window and strolled past you to get to the door. He lightly brushed his fingers against your cheek when he passed by. Okay. You can always rewind with the mouse wheel? Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Oh my goodness, thank you. I've been going through this whole story. If I missed something, I just missed it. Okay, we have a full swimsuit cover up, regular shirt to wear, goggles. I want goggles. I think we're gonna stick with our sunglasses because I have blue eyes and I can't walk outside without them, so blue-eyed people be like. He was tapping his toes on. Oh wait, we already did this. Okay.
Bye.
I'll see you out front. When you were alone, you got undressed and put your swimwear on. You also checked your beach bag for the final time, and it seemed like you hadn't forgotten anything. I mean, the only thing we brought was sunglasses, so I don't think we need a whole bag for that. You left your room and hurried down the stairs, ready to meet Cove. You made sure to lock your front door and walked outside. Cove stood in the road, looking down and scuffing his feet on the asphalt. When you shut your heavy door, he looked up at you and smiled. Hey. Hi, Miranda and Terry are gonna be here not too long. Terry even texted me earlier saying she was mostly on schedule.
Well,
Why don't we just head to the beach and wait for them there? We're both ready. That sounded like a good idea to you. You said as much, and Cove shot off a quick text telling the two of them where you'd be. Cove gave you a thumbs up after the message sent. It was a familiar path to walk, and it wasn't long until you reached the shore. Cove laid out his towel on the warm sand. You set up your stuff beside him and looked out into the ocean. The rolling swells hit the shore rhythmically. You all had lucked out. It was a beautiful day. The sky was clear and the waves were good. It was a balmy summer day, but with a pleasant breeze to keep things comfortable. Essentially, it was perfect. Do you feel like heading into the water? Maybe just walk down the shore? Or would you want to do something here? I mean, let's go to the water. Cove nodded, accepting the plan. He kicked off some sand off his towel absent-mindedly. He took a deep breath and tasted the relaxing, salty air. I don't know what I thought that word was, but we got through it. Cove caught your eye and gave you a small smile. You chatted a little before a comfortable quiet settled over the two of you, content to watch the waves as you waited for others. Luckily, it didn't take long until you heard shouts. You heard? Sorry, Okay, we're good. My headphone went off. Okay. It didn't take long until you heard shouts. You turned your head to see both Miranda and Terry running straight for you. Miranda was faster, making leaps and bounds across the sand. Terry followed in her wake, laughing with her towel clutched around her shoulders and flowing like a cape. Miranda started making her jumps more theatric and more precarious as she got closer. Cove waved them on with a bright grin. Okay, can we talk about how I did not stutter through theatric and precarious, but I could not say the word relaxing? What's up with that? What is up with that? English. Alright. I think you should wave. Terry tried to wave with both hands while running, one for you and Cove, but she was distracted and lost her balance, nearly falling, laughing all the while. Aw, they look cute. The two officially arrived at Cove's and you set up. Looking completely ready for an ocean adventure, they were already in their swimwear and were raring to go. Hey Terry, Miranda, welcome to our beach. She beamed and Miranda nodded with a smile. Man, I am so pumped. I'm really glad this worked out. What have you guys been up to over here in your town? Cove, Bish, have we missed things? Cove blinked and then shrugged when nothing he wanted to mention came to mind. We'll just ask what they've been up to. Terry laughed and mentioned a few things about her own parents. Miranda brought up her family and shared some of the wild things her older brother had done. Terry then started talking about her morning and how she almost overslept since she had stayed up too late last night. She bounced on her feet as she spoke. Don't worry about me being tired today. You know I ran on less back during school. Miranda filled in the group about her morning. Apparently everything had gone smoothly. She met up with Terry on the way here and you knew the rest. Cove offered a suggestion to the girls. Why don't we take this out to the water? You felt pleased that Cove remembered what you wanted to do. Sometimes he could be thoughtful like that. I'm pretty sure he wanted to go to the water too. I don't think it had much to do with us. Terry threw her stuff down on the sand and started running for the waves. Miranda was more careful, setting down her things and waiting for you and Cove. Cove tilted his shoulder to gesture over to the ocean.
Alright.
I've been looking forward to this. The three of you made your way down the shoreline together. Miranda cartwheeled and Terry clapped. Soon, all four of you were in the water. Cove swam out the furthest, while Terry instigated a splash fight. There was rarely a quiet moment where someone wasn't laughing. Hours passed and the group had moved between different activities, some low-key and some more exhaustive. For you, it was another break time. You sat on your towel and sipped up some water. Your friends were hard at work burying Terry's full body under a pile. Speaking of water, I need another drink. This music is kind of intense. For you, it was another break time. Oh, we already just read that. Miranda used her arms to force up sand around Terry's sides. Cove worked on covering Terry's feet, and you took another drink and closed your eyes. Eventually, a shadow passed over you, dampening the light that was still notable even behind your eyelids. You checked to see Cove had joined you there. He knelt down to dig around in the pile of assorted beach stuff in the middle of everyone's towel setup and pulled out the sunscreen. He took a seat next to you on his towel. He opened the bottle with a soft pop and began to reapply the cream. Why did he say hey while he's putting sunscreen all over him? That sounds so weird. He ran his hand across his chest to work the sunscreen in, and you might have checked him out a little from the corner of your eye while still sipping some water. I see you, Bish Bish. After he finished up, Cove let out a comfortable sigh and looked off into the distance. But then he sighed again, this time in an exaggeratedly disappointed way. You wondered if he was going to sigh again, even more dramatically, if you didn't say anything. You raised an eyebrow. You made it half as dramatic as Cove's expression, and he had to stifle a smirk. Cove shook his head, comically despondent. His frown didn't match the sparkle in his eye. I'm just becoming another jaded adult, that's all. Now you were really confused. You waited for him to continue, and his sigh did not disappoint. It was the most ridiculous, sad sigh you had ever heard. Then he smiled a little. Mermaids aren't real. What? That had not been what you were expecting, he continued. You know how much I liked mermaids as a kid. Well, merfolk as a whole. I really hoped that they were out there. I mean, the ocean's a big place, right? They could be somewhere. Yes, Cove, they could be somewhere. The older I got, the more I had to accept it. They were just a fairy tale. I mean, some mer VTubers would probably disagree, I would say. Got any mer VTubers? He jerked his head over to the waterline and the rolling waves. They had crashed against the shore and then drew back. This is the perfect beach for them. It's pretty and fast and never too crowded. If merfolk did exist, we definitely would have met one by now. Or at least we would have heard of someone else seeing one, but nothing. Well, I mean, the ocean is a big place. There's a lot of things that we haven't seen before. I'm just saying, Cove, there could be mermaids somewhere. He acted as though that result was a true bafflement. He let his head hang. I gotta let the dream go. Aww. Wow, good for you with that revelation. Hardly proof. It's not like this is the only beach in the world. Let's pretend with him. You looked at him and tried to fake tears to start welling up in your eyes. I can't believe it. Cove chuckled a little to himself, eyes tilted off into the sea, his face still low. Maybe it's for the best. Let's say a merperson did happen to wash up on shore one day. He looked at you with a faux doleful expression. I could have lost my best friend to their magical underwater world. Oh my gosh. I knew it, but I can't blame you. If a beautiful, kind merperson falls for somebody, I'm pretty positive that the sensible response isn't to turn around and say, no thanks, I'm gonna stay on land with a normal guy. Are you warning me that if you leave if you got that kind of offer? You don't want me to be blindsided when you ditch me for a mer creature if they're real? That's not what I was trying to say. I'm not the one who'd have to deal with that, you know. It's the same kind of thing. If a mer person did magically appear, there's no chance it'd be me they call for. The more Cove spoke, the more it sounded like he could be merfolk himself. He was choking on air, a fish out of water. I mean, you're the one who's charming and talented. He barely eked the last words out. We're charming and talented? Heck yeah. There isn't anyone who wouldn't choose you. You were completely flattered by how highly he thought of you. And then you heard Miranda screech. Your attention immediately switched over to your friends. You saw that Terry had gotten impatient and shifted her legs. The wall Miranda had meticulously built collapsed into a wet heap of sand. She surveyed the damage critically. We're gonna have to start over on that part. Do you just want to give up on this now? No way. The burial must continue. I'll try not to move anymore. Okay, if you're sure. I'll try to fix this. Miranda started to rebury her friend, and Terry shot her a thumbs up. She realized too late that moving her arm was a bad idea. More of the sand on her crumbled, and Miranda put her head in her hands. Cove caught your eye and started to drag himself up. Seems like we're needed. You agreed and followed him over to the girls. Miranda nodded at you both with appreciation, and the three of you did your best to finish the job. You all worked out a system of using just wet enough sand to help hold the rest together. With 3 people, it didn't take long for Terry to be entombed. Terry grinned massively, and Miranda offered high fives. The pile was officially done. Reassembling the Kool-Aid Man, she kicked herself out of the ground with gusto. Oh, resembling. Sand went flying in all directions, and Terry's shaped imprint was left behind. Miranda yelled again, and Cove chuckled. There probably wasn't a better way to get out of it. The 4 of you continued to have a good time. You went on a shell hunt. Miranda managed to find the biggest, while you found the most colorful. Cove caught a tiny crab. You did a bit of everything. There were impromptu games to just soaking up each other's company. However, after a while, you all had ran out of water, drinkable water anyway. It was decided that you'd head to you or Cove's house. Things were gathered, and you started to cheerfully walk up the road. What next? I don't have anywhere to go, so it could be whatever. I guess we can keep hanging out. Harry snorted and readjusted her grip on her thighs. Things, not thighs. Oh my gosh, that was not... We're gonna pretend that didn't happen. We're gonna pretend that didn't happen. Don't sound too sure there, Cove. By this point, you could see your house. It hadn't taken you long to make the trip. The conversation continued with everyone throwing out suggestions. Are people hungry? She looked from face to face in inspection. Cove and Miranda shrugged in concert. No one was overtly opposed to it. However, you weren't really starving. It wasn't quite a mealtime. We could get dessert. Miranda put a finger to her lip and thought. With a smile, her voice became more confident. That would be fun. Terry considered it and then shot Miranda a thumbs up. Sounds great to me. I can definitely go for that. I think that's a good idea. But there's nothing sweet at my house. Your friends glanced at Cove in his place. He shook his head immediately. Dad doesn't have anything good either. I mean, unless you want dessert-flavored protein shakes. She cut in and held her hands up as if trying to ward off something evil. Cove smirked. It's not that bad. I mean, how do we feel about protein shakes? I think some of them can be good. Well, to be honest, I don't really drink them because they kind of make me sick, so. But, I mean, they still taste good. For the most part. Terry continued to rummage in her bag and grew increasingly frustrated. She puffed out her cheeks and knelt down, setting the bag on the ground. With both hands free, she was finally able to fish out her phone. She raised it up in triumph for a brief moment of celebration. Good, yes. Proper snack? No. You're right. It's not a proper snack, but it is good. I don't know. I want ice cream now. Terry got back to her feet, hefting the bag over one arm, tapping away at her screen in the other. She assessed Cove from top to bottom. No shirts, no shoes, no service. Cove glanced down at his bare chest and feet, having not registered it prior. He chuckled. Cove moved over to his house. You looked towards yours. We're gonna change as well, because we are in, like, nothing right now. You felt like you'd be more comfortable in something more streetwear than beachwear. You inclined your head over to the side. I'm gonna go change too. Miranda nodded with a smile. You ran into your house. No one was home, so you just rushed to your room and dropped off your beach stuff on your bed. Just throw something over. You didn't want to take too long, so you just put a couple things over top. You brushed off a bit of sand and thought you looked presentable. With that, you sped out back outside. Cove was already there and gathered around Terry's phone with the girls. I mean, I feel like when you live on the beach, places like that just expect that some people are going to come in with, you know, swimsuits and stuff. I don't think it's that big of a deal. He opted to just add a shirt and shoes, apparently putting in the minimum effort for service. You don't really want ice cream, do you? You didn't have a chance to answer. She kept barreling through with her words. Because I'm not into that right now. Don't mind her. You look nice, by the way. Terry scrolled further and then made an interested exclamation. What about this place? They sell crepes. That's something you don't see every day. Look how fancy they are. She shoved her phone into your face. It seemed like a cute shop. It didn't show any pictures of the actual building, but the food seemed good. It was one of those places that put a lot of effort into presentation with branded wrapping for their crepes and well-applied toppings. Weird, I've never heard of it. I haven't either. Mysterious, but crepes are so good. She nodded at her approval as Terry admired more of the photos. I'd go. It's not too far, but we could drive. Terry cheered at the success of a plan made, and he walked all around the Cove's car. He had run inside once more to grab his keys. What kind of car does he drive? Oh my gosh, you wrote "wash me" in the dirt on his car? Yeah. Only on the window though, not the actual paint. You noticed a thin coat of sand and dust on Cove's car. It had probably been a while since he'd washed it. With a smirk, you carefully wrote "wash me" with your finger. I wonder if he's gonna notice. The car beeped and unlocked. Cove ran up to you with his car keys in hand. His hair slipped into his face, and he brushed it back. She clambered into the passenger seat without hesitation. You didn't argue and climbed into the back with Miranda. Terry activated the directions on her phone map and acted as their navigator, directing Cove to the crepes. The GPS tried to get Cove to turn into a non-existent road once, and wanted him to do a U-turn instead of just using a left turn, but with Terry looking at the actual path, it went smooth enough. I don't know what is up with maps nowadays, but my Google, or my map always wants me to make U-turns when it's like illegal. They're always like, make a U-turn here, and it literally states on the sign, do not make a U-turn here. So beware, your GPS may try to make you do illegal things. You were led to a small stall in a parking lot rather than a full building. That explained why there hadn't been pictures in the creperies. How do you say that? I've never seen that. Creperies interior, and why it was new to you despite living in this town your entire life. It was a completely new structure that popped up recently. There was a window you could walk up to and one for cars to drive up to. Cove parked with a laugh. Wait, I thought they lived in a small town. I grew up in a small town, and if anything ever happened, everyone knew about it. But maybe since this is a tourist town, maybe things are a little different. I don't think I needed to put a shirt on for this, but I still want to try it. Let's go. Do you not trust us to eat in your car? She gestured to the drive-thru option. Cove shook his head with a snort. I trust some people here, maybe, but wouldn't it be more fun to actually check it out? Everyone acknowledged his point and piled out. Terry tried to ease Cove a little, but Miranda started talking about the last time she had crepes. Apparently, they'd been a dessert explosion, topped with multiple sauces, powdered sugar, and what Miranda was pretty sure had to be cake icing. Wow, that sounds like a lot. I think I'm more of a simple snack kind of person, but I'd still try it. Literally, it was so good, but I regretted it so much. I couldn't finish it, and I really tried. But you can do it this time, Randy. Oh, this is cute. There were some laughs when you got up to the menu and you realized that there were more than just crepes. They have a lot of options, too. Well, they have a few. They have a simple menu. There were definitely crepes, mini crepes. However, the stall also had a lot of different drinks as well. Teas, smoothies, milkshakes. She grinned and held out her fist for a fist bump. Miranda high-fived it. She turkeyed her. The two stared at the awkward, vaguely turkey-shaped hand figure configuration they had made and then slowly put their hands down. Cove's mouth twitched into a smile. You stepped up to order first. You glanced back at the menu. A crepe and a drink, I would think. There was a woman who looked a little older than you taking the orders. She smiled back at you, ready to hear the specifics of your purchase. For the crepe, I think we're gonna go with... I don't think I've ever had a crepe before, but I love chocolate and I love strawberry. I think we're gonna go with strawberry. For the filling and toppings you picked... Oh, for the fillings. What did we just choose? For the crepe itself. Oh my gosh. We'll do plain. And then for the fillings, we'll do strawberries. Condensed milk? No. We're gonna do powdered sugar, whipped cream, and I think we're gonna go for chocolate chips, really? No, maybe chocolate syrup. And that's all. That sounds good. After you picked the size, you were asked what you wanted to drink. You ordered... I don't like mangoes. Not a big fan of green tea or black tea. We can get... Should we get a milkshake? Yeah, let's get a chocolate milkshake. Oh, toppings for the drink? We'll just add whipped cream. And that's all. We don't need more chocolate syrup. Cove got a lemon crepe with powdered sugar on top and mixed berries. He also got a plain strawberry smoothie. Terry went crazy with toppings, although she ordered a plain crepe. She had smothered it with whipped cream, cream cheese, chocolate chips, chocolate syrup, and bananas. Miranda opted for a frappe with caramel syrup and condensed milk. She didn't even get a crepe? The whole point of us going was to get crepes. I heard what you ordered, Bish. Glad I'm not the only one to go for a drink and a crepe. I couldn't just pick one, you know. Man, your crepe is gonna rock. Heck yeah, it is. High five for topping appreciation. She held her hand out expectantly. I think we fist bump her palm. Terry stared at your hand. She blinked. She looked between Miranda and you. Is this just a thing now? I don't know what you mean. Miranda's voice was surprisingly serious, while her face looked like she was seconds away from laughing. Terry shook her head dramatically. Order for Bish. You grabbed your order. The others didn't take much time after that. With the goods collected, everyone admired their treats. Terry dug right into hers, and Miranda gave hers a tentative sip. Terry nodded acceptingly of her mouth completely full. Miranda tilted the frappe over with her grin. Terry sipped it and clearly loved it. Oh my goodness. I don't care that much about their crepes. I'm just getting hungry now. Do you want to share? Oh, sorry. They had both only gotten one thing, probably because they knew they'd end up sharing. You offered to share your order with everyone? I don't like people... I guess for the story's sake we'll share, but I don't like sharing my food. Or my drinks with anyone, personally. But for the story, we will share with everyone. You held your order up a little, bringing it to attention. Your friends looked at you curious. Anyone want some? Alright, Terry wants some. You can't call dibs on someone else's food. I mean, you can. Right? Everyone can try it if they want. Miranda took the first round and then with a smirk passed on your order to Cove instead of Terry.
Sorry.
You can't claim Bish's stuff. Fine, I can wait for it. Chuckling, Cove seemed to greatly enjoy his taste and didn't pass it on to Terry until he stopped chewing slowly. Finally, she accepted your order with gusto and took her taste. You gave your reply in between sips of Miranda's frappe and munches of Cove's crepe. With that, Cove started to eat his treats in earnest. You saw him take a huge gulp of his smoothie, and then without swallowing, he added a bit of his lemon crepe. Care to make a trade? Instead of continuing to loiter in the parking lot, the four of you started to walk down the sidewalk. There was a lot of sharing going on, with crepe bits and toppings being passed around. You wouldn't have been surprised if Terry ended up drinking more frappe than Miranda did. You kept going down the way, eating, drinking, and chatting. You hadn't realized just how far the group had wandered until you ended up at the now leaving sign. Apparently, you were about to just walk right out of the middle of nowhere. Oh wow, that's pretty. I want to go see mountains. Terry took her mouth off of Miranda's straw and stopped sipping the frappe. Impossible. Preposterous. How are we already at the end? I always forget how tiny this town is. Cove chuckled a little and swallowed a chunk of Terry's crepe.
I guess.
It didn't feel that small when we were growing up. There was a time when Sunset Bird had felt huge. It seemed as endless as the ocean. There was always some street you hadn't wandered down, something new for the tourists, but now you realized it was just a pond in this big, big world. Seeing the definite end only reinforced this. Here was the boundary that proved your hometown could be walked out of with ease. I guess this means we should probably head back. One doesn't just walk into nowhere land. We're not the only one, Terry. There's 4 of us. Terry scrunched up her face, not wanting to acknowledge the bad joke. She decided to ignore it. It stings having to go all the way back. Yeah, but it's not like there's anything in that direction. And if keep going forward, it'd be an even longer trip home. You stared off into the stretch road as Cove agreed that he didn't want to go out any further. Can we take a break here first before we turn around? We've been walking for a while and someone finished my drink. Miranda looked at her, but Terry remained unrepentant. In the end, though, it was agreed to hang around the sign before heading back to the car. It didn't take long to finish the rest of the food and drinks. Everyone gathered up the trash and stuffed it into bags and pockets for now. The group relaxed on the grass, keeping account of all the cars that drove past. It was not a high number. 14. The newest passing car drove into town from somewhere outside. But as the vehicle came by, it slowed down and you watched as it ultimately rolled to a complete stop. The black car parked right by the now leaving sign. Everyone exchanged a baffled look. Yeah, I would be afraid. Someone pulled up next to me. But then the tinted window rolled down and the driver peered out. As soon as you saw his hair, you recognized him. No one else you knew presented themselves so distinctively. Hi, neighbors. Oh my gosh, it's him again. Cove also jolted with recognition. He pasted on a cordial smile and waved politely. Afterwards, he put his mouth back over the straw of his long empty drink, as if trying to act cool. Just wave. You leaned forward and tried to get a better look. His hands were loose over his steering wheel, and he seemed rather relaxed, just pulled over on the side of the road. You waved and nodded in acknowledgement. And you thought about the odd picture this made. A fancy black car pulled up over to talk to a group of teens, mostly still in beachwear. Miranda was incredibly confused and shrank back to watch. Terry tilted her head in an unspoken question. Cove made a quick gesture, pointing towards Baxter. I almost called him Bastard. Oh my gosh, that's awful. Baxter. And a light bulb went off for Terry. Ah, that's the person with the condo, the B-man, right? Yeah, Baxter. I wasn't sure if I'd ever actually see him. Her voice was quiet. Miranda usually got shy around new people. Terry was quite the opposite. Terry hopped up from the grass and ran to Baxter's car, all full of excitement. Behind her, Miranda picked herself up and dusted imaginary dirt off her clothes. She sent a searching look to you and Cove, to which Cove shrugged. Miranda nodded and, with clenched fist, hesitantly followed Terry. Terry bent down to talk to Baxter through his window. She blasted through the introductions, with Miranda putting in a shy wave. Cove looked at you. He still clearly had no intention of going over. I think we should encourage him. Cove pouted, his cheeks flared out in a childish puff. I don't want to. I don't know what to say. You can go. I'll just wait until he's gone. You really should come. You can do it. Do you want to be the only person who doesn't go see him? Well, why can't you just stay here with me instead? You sighed. He was definitely going to be difficult about this. Some days he really was that same grouchy 18-year-old you met all those years ago. Oh, 8-year-old, not 18. I was about to say they're 18 already? We're gonna push him towards the car. Not willing to mess around anymore, you strode over behind him, and used both hands to force him up over the car. Cove put a meager wall of resistance, but got to his feet. He didn't want to keep being poked at. Slowly, progress forward was made until you two arrived at the driver's side car window. Baxter smiled welcomingly. They are 18? Oh, really? Oh my gosh, they're so old. Our children have grown up. Oh no. I did not know they were that old. I know that they were getting ready to go to college, but I thought they were still like 17. Cove greeted him mildly, his expression cautious. Howdy, Baxter. Every time skip in this is 5 years and you start out at 8. Oh, I didn't know that. In the beginning it told me when there was a time skip, but then it just stopped telling me. So then I was like, oh, I wonder what's next. Wonder when they're gonna give me a hint. But that's good to know. Baxter gestured to Miranda and Terry. I just rented this car for my stay here, and I was coming back from a bit of sightseeing when I spotted your crowd. Then these two were kindly introducing themselves. It's only polite. Speaking of polite, Baxter is giving us a ride. I was asking him to. Why was she doesn't even know this guy, and she asked him for a ride. Oh my gosh. I kind of felt uncomfortable. We don't know this guy. You didn't know Baxter well enough to feel safe driving with him. Sure, you doubted he was going to kidnap everyone or something. Your group had the numbers, and you're pretty sure you could all take him in a fight, but it still felt weird. You weren't in the habit of climbing into random people's cars. It always felt awkward. The seats, the smells, everyone's car etiquette were always different. You felt stressed out that Terry had put this on you. Alrighty, plan made, let's hop in. You hesitantly opened the back door and slipped inside. The car was clean and smelled of air freshener. You stared at Cove for reassurance as you scooted all the way to the other side. Cove squeezed in the middle after you. Miranda took the last seat in the back, and you all tried to awkwardly buckle up. Were backseats really made for 3 adults? It honestly didn't seem like it. My friends always made me sit in the middle seat. It was so unnerving. I could never have the side seats if we were all in a group, because I was the smallest, and it was unnerving. Terry gladly took the shotgun seat in all the rooms she wanted. Welcome to my vehicle. I hope everyone is comfortable, and if someone could point me in the right direction, we can be on our way. Terry went back to navigator mode and outlined their journey. It was basically a straight line with one turn at the end into the parking lot. Baxter nodded from up in the driver's seat and pulled back into the road. Luckily, the street was still dead empty. It took no time at all for Baxter to park right next to Cove's car. There wasn't even enough time for a proper conversation to start. The occupants didn't seem to mind. They were all smiles, and Baxter parked next to Cove's car. Miranda clapped quietly as Terry cheered. Cove chuckled nervously. You were relieved you had made it. The trip had gone without issue. Baxter hadn't sped excessively or stopped for another set of teenagers in swimsuits. He'd just driven down the road, and now you were here. You sighed, a breath of relief, and put your hand on the door handle. Terry flung open her door and climbed out. Everyone else exited the car as well. The group thanked Baxter with varying degrees of enthusiasm. Baxter himself got out too. Oh my gosh, hi Ladine. Your mango papaya. I think it says mango on it, but it's in the shape of a papaya, so. but good afternoon, Ladine. I hope you're doing well. Mango? You decided it's a mango? Okay. Well, it is the color of a mango. I guess. Everyone congregated again in front of Baxter's and Cove's cars. We are still arguing about the emotes. Oh my gosh. That, honestly, I'm not surprised. Why don't we all just agree that it is a mango shaped like a papaya? And we can move on. I think it would be much easier. I mean, it literally does say the channel is typo mango, so I think that automatically wins the argument of it's supposed to be a mango. But, I mean, to each their own. Cove looked at the back of his and frowned. He finally discovered the wash me you put on it. You snickered all along with Miranda, who realized you'd been caught. It's a mystery. Terry bounced over to Baxter and offered her hand for a handshake. He accepted it easily with a charming grin. Win-win solution. I like it. By the way, what kind of game is it? Oh, this is Our Life. It's a visual novel. It's my first visual novel too. I heard it was really good, so we're kind of, I don't know if we're at the end of it yet, but we're getting there because they're already 18. So they're almost off to college. So we I think we're heading towards the end. How are you liking it, by the way? Oh, I really like it. I can see myself doing other visual novels in the future. I want to do what is it? Literature Club. I heard that one's really good. We are in moment 1 of step 3. Yeah, visual novel. There's a step 4. Okay, is step 4 the final step? Because I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I guess they can keep the game going until they're old and gray. Step 4 is the final? Okay. It's more like an epilogue. Oh, okay. Well, when I plan my streams for this, then I'll keep that in mind. But yeah, it's a visual novel. It's my first one, especially on stream. And I just thought it'd be fun to do. And it's been really fun. It's just been a lot longer than I thought it would be, to be honest. I thought visual novels were like really short. But I think it just depends on which one you choose, to be honest. But yeah, we're just finishing as much as we can today before I have to go to work. So right now we just got done eating crepes and swimming at the beach. Did you do the DLC stuff? I did not do the DLC stuff just because I didn't know if I was gonna like it, and I didn't want to spend money on something if I didn't like. I wanted to know what the base game was like, I guess you would say, and that's why I didn't spend money on the DLCs. And plus, I think the DLC with the name, like where it says a specific name, I think that's free, but I would have to have a default name, and my name is Bish, so I wanted my character's name to be Bish Bish, so I did not go with the name DLC. I did hear that they are coming out with something new. The creators are doing something new with the game, and then it'll be like the final one. So I mean, that's why they made the DLC the way it is, so people can try the game. Yeah, I think the DLCs mostly consist of like the other characters that you don't really get to see as much. I mean, that's how I understood it. And yeah, I mean, I like the game. I just think I wanna fall in love with like the base game. You know, that's like I don't know, like, you know, but buying stuff from like the Sims packages before you actually play Sims. That's probably an awful example, but that was my thinking of it when I first did it. I also didn't know what the DLCs were at all. Like, it didn't really specify a lot. You get extra content for every step that is mostly focused on moments with Cove, and now for the final 2 DLCs, they're doing stuff for the side characters. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. When I was looking into the DLCs, it mainly just mentioned about the side characters, and I really didn't connect with any of the side characters besides the first one. I even forgot his name, but he had like the little bucket hat and the freckles. He was the first side character, and I mean, we got to see what happened to him without the DLCs. So I think that's why I didn't really look into the DLCs as much. The devil himself? I don't think he's the devil, but I think that he definitely has a memory issue. I don't know how he could, like, he obviously had a huge crush on Elizabeth, and he just completely forgot about her. But yeah, I think that's why I didn't get the DLCs. But I might get, like, I think they have another like part coming out. I don't know the specifics, but I plan on doing that. That guy actually from a previous game by the developer. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I know they like to, I know this developer especially likes to like sprinkle in their characters. So, I mean, I figured that some of the characters were from different games, but I didn't research about the game a whole lot beforehand. Just because I didn't want any spoilers. But yeah. I mean, he was probably the only DLC that I had any interest in learning more about, just because he was there for the entire first step, and then he just disappeared off the face of the earth. And then, you know, years later, we met him again. I really got into this game when I first read it. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to. You get so connected with each character, and of course Cove's story. Like when he was little, you know, in the beginning of the game, I had a bit of a rough time because it just felt like I knew it was character development, but he was just crying so much. Like over everything, we were crying, and every scene felt like it was sad. But now that we've moved past it, it's kind of like smooth sailing at this point. Like I have an idea of where the story is going to end, but there's still options available, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I think that's probably what's most intriguing about this game. But Baxter, I don't know how I feel about Baxter. I'll be keeping this car all this summer. If it suits you, you're welcome to take my number and give me a ring whenever you're in need of another ride. And that goes for everyone here. Oh, he's trying to drop the digits. Cove's like, I have a car. Oh, look at that face. Terry busted into laughter and Miranda fidgeted. She did not know what to do with that. Baxter really went fast, didn't he? He noticed her discomfort and smiled with a soft tilt of his head. I'd be happy to help again, but that's the only reason I offered. If you don't need it, you can pass on it. Baxter just approaches all limits from the top. I know, he's like borderline, he's like not yet a creep, but he's also not a nice, I don't know. He definitely makes you feel a little uncomfortable when you talk to him. Definitely pushes the limits. I'm not going to ask him for his number. Or should we? I mean, if we get his number, what does that mean? Yeah, we'll ask him for his number. It's called content. He beamed widely. Absolutely. Baxter pulled out a pen he had with him for some reason and jotted his number down. He passed the little paper to you and accepted it. I'm so glad he did not write his number on my hand. I'm so glad that did not happen. I didn't think of it until I pressed the button, and then I realized he's probably going to write it on our hand somehow. But he didn't. That's good. When her giggles subsided, Terry put a hand to her chin with brows furrowed. I wonder, would that option be available right now? You could valet us somewhere cool.
What?
Cove was taken aback. He put a hand on the hood of his car. Weren't we going back to the neighborhood? Wasn't Baxter going back to the neighborhood too? Why would we go somewhere else? Because we can. Miranda squirmed nervously and then committed to piping up. We could go to the park near my place. It's a really nice place to hang out. You and Cove shared a look. The big park was pretty nice. Let's do it! Woo! I don't know why I put that type of energy into this. It just felt like that kind of conversation was a little awkward. He glanced at Cove and then switched focus to you. Well, we have 2 cars. If some people want to go to the park, I could still take the others home. But if everyone's going, it wouldn't make sense for me not to. You decided to go back to the neighborhood with Cove. You wanted to continue the hangout session at the park. If we continue the hangout session, does that mean Cove goes home? Because I don't want Cove to go home. That seems ridiculous. We're all going to the park. Let's continue. You weren't ready to tag out yet. You came to a decision and turned to Cove. Let's go to the park. Alright, park time it is. Yay, he's going with. Okay, I feel better. I thought he was going to get upset with me. He smiled a little. Terry cheered and Miranda nodded happily. You felt like you made a good decision. Yeah. To the car again. Which car? There are multiple. You watched to see if Cove or Baxter had an answer. Cove sighed and ran a hand through his hair. He tapped on the car's hood. Oh my goodness. I just yawned. Like a yawn just like took over my existence. I promise I'm not bored. I don't know what that was. A yawn literally just took over my body. Okay, I'm back. He tapped on his car's hood nervously. We can go in Baxter's, I guess. It'll be less of a pain than bringing both. We're all going to the same place. Are you okay with that, Baxter? Certainly, I meant what I said. When you need a lift, I can give it. Neither you nor Terry brought up any objections, and so the gang climbed back into Baxter's nice ride. This time, Baxter offered to turn on some music. After all, it would be a little bit of a drive to the park. Play what he normally would. Let's see what he's into. I mean, he is a ballroom dancer, isn't he? I hope the playlist lives up to the expectations. Personally, I refuse to put on music when I'm in the car with people, just because my music taste ranges so vastly. Like, I don't stick to one genre usually, so it's very random, and not a lot of people are into that. So I try to be respectful and just not put in my music. He plunged his phone into the car with an aux cord and turned on some alternative music. With the music taken care of, Baxter put the car in drive and pulled out of the parking lot. The lot was practically empty, but you noticed that he was careful anyway. During the trip, it changed to a hard rock, punk, and even screamo. Despite his personal demeanor, he didn't seem to like upbeat tracks. It took a while to arrive. By the time you got there, the sky was golden with the orange streaks of sunset. I do want to say that it does seem like that is the case with most people. Like, people who are, like, really upbeat and, like, happy all the time or show a lot of excitement for things, they always have the saddest music playing. Always. They always want to be up in their feelings. And I relate to that. I will say. I relate to that. It took a while to arrive. By the time you got there, the sky was golden with the orange streaks of sunset. Everyone got out of the car and started to stroll along one of the paths. You walked by the baseball court and some picnic tables, taking in the sights. This looks like a sad park. I thought this was supposed to be, like, really nice. It's kind of sad. People left their plates from cooking. Oh my gosh, people just left hot dogs on the grill there. Do you see that? No way. It looks abandoned. Miranda seemed amazingly content, the location helping her relax in the company. She led the way, sometimes stopping here or there to point something out. Baxter turned to her and nodded along.
Not bad.
I've never been here, but I definitely see the appeal. Man, this is Randy's stomping ground. She's been coming here forever. Seriously, Miranda, have you ever had a birthday party that wasn't here? You missed out, Baxter, because every year she has a blowout party at the park. Imagine, balloons everywhere. Miranda looked down, suddenly shy again with the attention on her. She let out an awkward laugh. Yep, every year. The group followed Miranda along to one of the picnic tables. She took a seat and Terry slid in beside her. You spent the evening chatting amongst each other. Everyone got to know Baxter a little better, although you could tell Cove and him still hadn't fully clicked. At one point, Miranda found an abandoned soccer ball and started tossing it around. To me! Miranda threw the ball to her. Terry caught it with a smile. Think fast! She chucked it at Baxter. I almost called him Bastard again. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. For some reason, my mouth does not want to do X's today, okay? She chucked it at Baxter, who only had enough time to squeak. It bounced off his chest, and he stared at it dazed. He blinked as if he needed time to process what exactly had happened, but then he grinned dangerously. He rushed after the ball, and rather than throwing it back, he surprised Terry and everyone else by lobbing the ball high into the air. You bent your neck back to watch its ascent and inevitable decline. Baxter hooked it with his foot and launched it up again. There were oohs and ahs from Terry and Miranda. Baxter gave them a very proper bow. I feel like this lot is very easily entertained. I don't think 18-year-olds would be, like, super entertained by a ball going in the air. I'm just saying that now. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying they're just very easily impressed, I would say. But I'm gonna take a drink break real quick. Alright, when he finally fell to the ground for real, Cove was the one who picked it up. He was impressed, and he wanted in. With that, everyone was drawn into the game. It was unspoken that whoever did the fanciest trick won. Most of the gang was not particularly practiced with throwing a ball, so not many of the tricks were actually good. However, there was a lot of laughter, and you got to see Miranda pull off a round-off where she threw the ball with her feet, so that was cool. Some of these sentence structures need a little work, I will say that. They're kind of run-on sentences. The sunset eventually darkened into night, and the streetlights turned on. Your group's chosen picnic table laid in a bubble of light. The occasional bug cast shadow as they flew by. It's a little strange being here so late on a normal night. Usually that only happens if there was a party or an important game or a fireworks show. Her yell startled Baxter, who was throwing the ball nonchalantly from the hand to hand. He missed catching it, and it sailed sadly back to the ground. He looked at Terry for her loud outburst. I just remembered. There's going to be a fireworks show tonight. It's in the city. At everyone's questioning looks, she huffed and tried to explain further. It's some celebration for the opening of something. I don't remember what. I don't think we could get into the actual event anyway. But we should still be able to see the show if we got close. You can't keep explosions in the sky away from the public. Cove raised an eyebrow and drummed his fingers on the table below him. You want to change locations again? Wasn't the last 2 times enough? Terry rolled her eyes and then shook her head. To her, it was obvious. Don't be a wet blanket, Cove. What about you, Bish, Randy, Baxter? Don't you want to see fireworks? Yeah, I think we gotta go see fireworks. Although that is a lot of work to just be going everywhere. It exhausts me thinking about it. In turn, 4 sets of eyes looked to Baxter. As the driver, his answer made or broke the plan. He chuckled softly. In for a penny, in for a pound, I'll go. What kind of saying is that? Genuinely, there is nothing better to occupy my time tonight. We better hurry, or we might miss it. Cove rolled his eyes, but laughed. Everyone headed back to the car yet again. Terry brought out her phone to navigate to the city, and Baxter stepped on the gas. You were on your way. Baxter drove past buildings aglow in a warm yellow light that cut through the navy black night. One office building had bright LED lights that cycled through a whole rainbow of hues. It was difficult to get through all the traffic on the road, let alone find parking this late at night. Luckily, Miranda had eagle eyes when it came to scoping out a spot. She pointed to a sedan pulling out, and Baxter parked within seconds. Not wanting to miss the show, you all race down the waterfront walkway to find a place with a good view. What about there? Or here? Cove peered across the rails into the distance and shot her a thumbs up. It was relatively quiet, isolated, and you could see skyscrapers. That was a good sign, based on where Terry thought the event was. So are they, like, out of their town now? Are they, like, in the city? It was supposed to... I'm confused. She stopped and tried to catch her breath. Her hands on her knees, Miranda leaned against the wall between establishments as she recovered. Cove took a moment to breathe as well, stretching his spine back. He looked up at the sky in wonder and let out a relieved sigh. I think we've missed anything? Not a chance. Nothing's happening, and we can't be so late that we missed everything. Maybe it'll start soon. We're pretty laid back, I think. Sure, the fireworks were something that you'd like to see, but you weren't overly invested in the show. You were with your friends, and that was already something. Fireworks would happen, or they wouldn't. You could accept it either way. Terry led Miranda to sit on the oval slabs along the path. Miranda took a seat and began tapping her knees together as she waited. Terry, meanwhile, crunched more than sat? Crunched? What does that even mean? Something seemed to strike Cove as he tried unsuccessfully to hide a smile. Wearing beachwear in the middle of the city in the dark while waiting for a fireworks show was clearly the joke of the day for him. Cove snorted once and then looked back at the sky. A flash lit up in the sky with a brilliant green. Your eyes flew off the building in the distance and silently watched with a bated breath. You heard a second boom and red firework lit up in the night. The show's starting! Oh, look at those fireworks. It's so pretty. They came running over to get a closer, positively beaming. Terry pressed herself into the waterfront fence, getting as close as physically possible without going swimming again. More fireworks went off, shooting out hundreds of tiny sparkling lights. The colors stood out starkly against the dark of the night. The biggest ones washed your surroundings with their hue, turning your world blue, then red, and then gold. Did I deliver or did I deliver? Miranda's eyes glittered and she lightly bumped Terry with her hip. Good job. Terry stumbled at the friendly nudge, but was pleased with the compliment. She grinned back. Miranda lightly swung her hips the opposite way to give you a bump as well. It was friendly and soft. We did it! You smiled at her and nodded. You are glad that you didn't miss the show. Despite how unorthodox and impromptu the fireworks plan had been, you were ecstatic it worked out. Luckily, you arrived in time and it was shaping up to be a particularly colorful fireworks show. The rest of the group huddled around the railing to take in the show as closely as possible. Oh, okay. Miranda stood close by. Terry's hands gripped the top. Cove laid his arms across while leaning forward, and Baxter rested his elbows on the rail, putting his back towards the fireworks. He seemed to have more fun watching the others than the actual show. She pointed out a golden firework and beamed. That's so cool! Terry held up a hand for a high five and Miranda obliged her. Terry whooped and shot you a smile. What color do you think the next one will be? Without giving Baxter a glance, Cove answered immediately. Green. It was orange. Baxter chuckled, but wasn't interested in calling Cove out for being wrong. Is that your favorite color, green? It's one of them. I think that's nice. It matches you. And yours is black? That's one of them. Cove smirked just a little and left the conversation there. Stood next to the girls? We'll stand next to Cove. We haven't got to talk to him much. Cove looked away from the fireworks and grinned at you. He was glad to be spending time with you and tilted his head at the spectacular multicolored firework above. I think that's been my favorite so far. He shot you another look and nodded, wanting you to move up closer. In front of him, you could see the night's light reflected on the water. We're gonna stay like that. Or do we want to lean in? I think we stay like that. You stood next to him. Both of you were content to watch the show side by side. You took a moment to watch him, and the fireworks reflected in his eyes. Cove grinned like a kid. Cove's gaze drifted from the show of dazzling lights straight at you, and he sighed dreamily. You didn't know when you'd last see him so blissful. The spectacle continued to up the ante by bringing more fireworks out at a time. The colors danced across the sky and reflected over the water. You reached out a hand and watched as it tinted green while a big boom sounded. Fireworks were a normal summer tradition, but this was admittedly an unconventional approach. Showing up in the city last minute to watch a display from a technically private event, that made this feel special in a way that just planning to go to a public fireworks show never would. Terry's idea may not have left you with a lot of time to prepare, but it sure led to a unique situation. It was clear this was an unforgettable night. As the finale sounded, blazing the sky with unbelievable beauty, you remembered thinking that there might never be a night exactly like this one again. Not for the rest of your life. You planned to hold on to the feelings you had in that moment for as long as you could. Oh my gosh, we're done with it. We're done with hanging out. That was a pretty fireworks show. So we have errands, talks, and charity left. Oh, and drive. Drive left. I think I have to leave in like 30 minutes. So I think what we need to do instead is probably just call it quits early, because I don't want to start the middle of a moment and be left with having to leave it in the middle of it, you know? I want to be able to start a moment from like fresh and be able to finish it. So I think I'll probably leave early tonight or today. And yeah, okay. Let me get to my scene. All right, there we are. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the new follows and the chatting. I had so much fun, and I'm so glad I was able to make it back today. My schedule will be up tonight. I have to finalize some things with people, and then I'll be able to post it. It was supposed to be up yesterday, but I didn't hear back. So, yeah, so I'll have my schedule up tonight. It should be. And hopefully I'll be posting more videos soon. I want to do a lot more VTuber related content. I want to do more videos where just like on my YouTube, I want to post more videos, maybe not so much related to stream, but related to other topics like models or processes for VTubing and things like that. I want to be able to contribute to the community a little bit with some of my videos, you know? So be looking forward to those. I'll also be doing like game related content outside of streaming on YouTube. At some point I want to go live on YouTube just to see and compare with how it is on Twitch. But for now I'm going to be sticking to Twitch. So I'm super glad you all got to stop by, and even if you just said hi, like, I'm so glad that you came by, and I'm so appreciative. And sorry, I was trying to fix my, okay, we're good. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. I'm gonna go get ready for work, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you soon. Alright guys, have a great night. Bye!